Yeah, when we talk about stepping into a new chapter of life, yeah, it's not just about the decision. When you think about it, it's there's so much more behind it when we make these big decisions in life, and it's about the weight behind it. Why we make these big decisions, and in this case, stepping into a new chapter of life is an area where those decisions can be made around the people we love, the memories we carry, and the things we choose to protect. And in saying that, for me, that protection has always included my mom. Today she's 81 years of age, and even with her health challenges, I tell you, she has an amazing spirit. And that starts with her mindset. From what she's been through in her journey as a young girl, it's remarkable. Yeah, she definitely is an inspiration to me. However, in saying all this, still to this day, I can't tell her the truth of what I've been through. Not because I don't want to, but because I can't do that to her. I mean, she means more to me than anything. And sharing it would break her heart. It wouldn't be good for her health, put it that way. So I'll protect her as much as I can and for as long as I can. And that's why the hardest part for me was standing at the airport waving goodbye to her. Deep down I knew there were things I'd never be able to say, and things I'd always carry. And that's okay. I can handle that. It's okay. But that goodbye, it wasn't just to the city I was leaving. It was to the old chapter of my life. Why I had to leave. Well, before I get there, I could have moved to another city back from my previous country. I could have moved, but the truth is, it would have still felt too close to me. And when I say that, I was born and bred in one state on the East Coast, and we stayed there until I was 14 years of age, and then moved across the country to another state in my young adulthood life. It's all connected. No matter how hard I tried to adapt over the years, I felt like I was still standing in the same energy. Even when I changed my routine, something I used to do, I always took care of myself, as in I loved anything physical, whatever that was. I used to do a lot of gardening, and I used to chopping trees and cleanups, helping with any house renovation, just be labourer. Get my hands into something, and I'd feel exhausted at the end of the day. I feel good. So my routine as I grew older was, always something into some sort of physical fitness. And I had this routine where I'd go to the gym in the morning, and I would go to this Asian cuisine. It was cheap. Yeah, it was a good price. I would get a chicken and rice with this it's a special sauce they would put on. It was very light, but it was really good. Perfect after a gym routine, right? And then I would go from there across the mall and I would get a haircut once upon a time. And then I would go down underground to this bookstore. And I'd read these books. And I would look at, fitness books and all that. But I would gravitate to this area, this section of the bookstore. And I'd have these self-help books. And I learned a lot from those, but the environment itself, it just kept me in the same state. I felt like I was managing. I was managing well. And yes, those things that I just mentioned do help. They're great tools. But for me, they started to feel like Band-Aids after a while. They didn't shift the core energy I was living in. And look, we all know this. When you change your environment, you change your state. And that's not just philosophy, it's psychology. You put yourself into a new environment, your brain, your body respond differently. And that's what I needed. I needed a complete shift. Because if the environment keeps feeding you the same energy, no matter how hard you work on yourself, you're still tied to the same story. And the only way to change that was the state I was living in, was to change my environment completely. And here's something that I learned along the way, of course. There was a silence in me I was holding on to, and it's heavy. And I think a lot of people, they know this feeling. It just plays a weight on you. Consciously, you're not thinking about it every day, but you're in this frame. That's you can just feel it. You know your own truth. And even research shows, in my case and millions of others out there, trauma doesn't just vanish. The body stores it. It shows up somewhere. And as they describe it, the pain body. It's not just in your head. It's in your body, holding on to what you haven't released. So for me, silence was a choice. I had to, for those reasons, for protecting the ones I loved. I couldn't not put the burden on my mom, and I couldn't put it on my siblings, so I carried it. But that silence taught me something. When you can't share your truth, you need to reshape your environment. Otherwise, you end up becoming a prisoner to it, which I was. So the value I take away when I listen to myself rehash the past here, if you are carrying something you can't speak out loud, find another outlet. And when I mean that is in manage it for now, because I'll get to the next point about vision. But right now, manage it, and whatever that may be. Look, there's so many examples, I'm not going to go through all of them, but it seems to be quite common now with people, although they have their routines, their health routines, family, friends, activities, hobbies, journaling and therapy is much more advanced now than ever, and it's definitely beneficial. A trusted friend, you can't go wrong with that. You someone that you really can confide into and really trust. More heart to heart. But at the end of the day, silence doesn't mean you have to live in that suppression, in that suppressed state, which I was doing. You can carry it differently. And when I say that, I mean is in a way that does not own you. The freedom I found when I came to the US, how can I describe? When I look back, how did I feel? Obviously, I didn't come here to the unknown. I came here once before. I traveled here, and I had a feeling. Everything felt different. The size of the country, obviously, the many states, the cultures, the diversity, it's vast. And for the first time, I felt free. I just felt like I could breathe and just, I felt, spread my wings. Yeah. I didn't feel like I was bumping into the past everywhere I turned, like an old stomping ground, you know, in old memories. Every day he felt new, like a new beginning, which it was. Even though the scars remain, they definitely shaped me in ways I didn't expect. They opened up my mind a heck of a lot more, and definitely my heart. They made me more awakened to what truly matters. And I can tell you that's where my travel in my career, where the country I came from, I was fortunate to travel to some third world countries, and I got to forget about my story. You know, you get to forget about you for a moment, and you see how others live, their environment, what they have, what they don't have, and it humbles you very quickly and keeps you grounded, but also opens up a lot of compassion. And although that was a great escape for me, I came back home to the environment where my traumas happened for me. Anyway, the value I take away on this is studies on neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity. Did I get that right? Show that new environments and new routines literally wire your brain. Right? Your brain builds new pathways when it experiences new things. It's fascinating. And that means freedom isn't just emotional, it's biological. So if you feel stuck, like I was, bring something new into your life along the way whilst you're managing. If you could travel, awesome. If not, seek out new communities, new cultures, new experiences. It just rewires perspectives, because perspective is what lets you step into the next chapter. It evolves you, you know. It opens up new possibilities you never thought. And when I say this, the universal truth, as is my channel, my story, my past traumas are heavy. Yeah. But so are many others. And that's why I do these videos, because something that we all have to remember, we're all equal and we're all one. And everyone has lived through something that's left scars. You can't always see it on the outside. That's why you can never judge another person or another person's journey. My grandmother used to say to me, you can never judge unless you've walked in someone else's shoes. And was she right? We've all walked different paths, you know? But we all know what it feels like to carry something heavy. The scars don't just disappear, but they don't have to define you. And for me, stepping into the next chapter wasn't about escaping it, although I was, to a degree. I admit I was. In my career, it felt like, get me out of here. But I returned back, to that shadow. It was about peace for me, stepping into the next chapter. It was about finding an environment where I could create a new life, even while carrying the scars. Yeah. That's the heart of it. The pain body, I guess, that's what they represent it to, your pain body. It does get lighter, but it gets lighter when you stop feeding it the same old story. To be able to move forward and, as they say, let go. And I'm all about that. I'm all about rising above it. I'm all about get on with it. That was our culture. Just get on with it. But after so many years, I become wise that although that helped manage me get through, it still haunted me and carried along with me. I needed to get to the core of it. And that's how the next chapter begins, is to get to the core of it. So the bottom line here is, if you are at a place right now, ask yourself, and the only way you're going to find this out is you get true to yourself. Is this environment I'm living in keeping me tied to my past? Or even better, on top of that, or equal to, mitigating me for evolving, to be the best I can be, to dream the things I dream of to achieve. What more is there for me? And it all starts with digging deep inside and recognizing it, and just getting true to yourself. For some people, the answer means completely leaving, like I did, because sometimes the environment itself holds on to too much of the old story. But remember, not everyone can just pack up and move. And if that's you, here's what matters. You can still change your state, even inside the same four walls that you come home to, or come home during the day, at night. It doesn't matter. You can start by shifting the patterns you live in, your routines, people that you surround yourself with. That way you feed your body and your mind. On new things that can just invigorate your soul on a higher level, a better energy, which you can manage. Small changes creates new states, and new states create new energy. But at the same time, don't lose sight of the bigger vision, whatever that may be. Because that's where I feel, from how I've managed myself, is I've used phrases, what we all do, we all use something that resonates for us. For me, where there's a will, there's a way. And I'll get there in the end. I don't have the answers right now, but I'll get there in the end, because where there's a will, there's a way, which gives me resilience. Yeah. You might not get there tomorrow. It took me several years before I felt this is what I want to do. But if you keep visualizing where you want to be, if you truly feel it in your heart, I don't mean just a moment thing. not just a feel-good moment, wake up tomorrow and it's like, you gotta really be genuine about it, really feel it. And if you keep visualizing and feeling that, as though it's already here, it's already real, your subconscious starts to work for you. I never knew this stuff once upon a time. And the other thing too is your nervous system starts to regulate where it begins to believe it. You start living in the energy of your vision. And when you do that consistently, life has an interesting way of lining it up for you. You start aligning with life. That's how it was for me. I didn't have the answer straight away, but I held the vision. And I kept replaying that picture where I wanted to be. And slowly but surely, doors began to open. Opportunities appeared. And eventually I stepped into an environment that gave me, I think, I don't want to say freedom and peace because it's so overstated, but I felt I was in a space where I could be the true me, but also on such a relaxed state that I evolved in areas when I look back now that I don't feel I would have evolved at all if I stayed in that same environment. Things that I wouldn't have imagined. As I felt it was holding me back. Yeah. So changing my environment was the greatest decision I ever made. But long before I could do it in reality, I had already begun living it in my mind. I was fantasizing about it. I was dreaming about it. Not literally taking it to bed and dreaming about it. I was just, you know what I'm saying, dreaming about it during the day and just sending that feeling into my, I felt it in my heart. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to go. And that's what made it all possible. So what vision in your next chapter are you ready to start living in your mind today? Because I tell you, when you take that first step and really believe and feel it, little things start showing up, and that's when you start to feel like you're really starting to live your true potential. We'll see you on the next one.